When most people try to make more money in their business, they try to create a better product or give more value. That way people have more incentive to buy their product. But what I want you to do is, instead of just focusing on the supply, this is what most people are trying to do. I want you to think about the demand, because the way that I look at it is you want to create the demand before you create the supply if you want to make more money in your business. Now, what does that mean? That means get the people that want to buy your products before you have spent all that money, time, and effort creating the product, because you can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you're not going to make any money. But if you have people that are ready to pay you, even if you have a crappy product, you still got customers that are giving you money. And then when you sell a crappy product, well, you're going to get a bunch of crappy feedback, and then you can take this crappy feedback and make a better product. And this is where I want you to focus on the demand before you focus on the supply. Now, the demand side is, how do I get people to know about my product? And this is one of the toughest things about business, because when we think about starting a business, you're thinking, okay, what can I create? Can I create a better whiteboard? Can I create a better marker? Can I create a better guacamole recipe? What can I create that way I can have a business? So we're always focused on what product can I create, but we don't really think about the marketing side. How are we going to get the distribution? How are we going to get the customers? How are we going to get a line of people around our door? How are we going to get people on our website every single day to buy our product? Because now you have this idea for something that can make you money, but you need the customers that are going to pay you to do that. So how do you create this demand? And in today's day and age, the most cost-effective way to do this is by getting somebody's attention. Get on social media, YouTube, podcast, Instagram, capture somebody's attention. And now you might be saying, oh, go tell somebody to make another YouTube channel, go create this other piece of social media. The reality is, this is the way the internet works now. And the people that know how to capture somebody's attention are the ones that are making all the money. Just take a look at any of the famous celebrities that you know. Why are they able to make so much money? It's not because they're celebrities, it's because they have people's attention so they can sell whatever they want. Kim Kardashian has people's attention. Anytime you say Kim Kardashian's name, people get angry or they get really excited. She doesn't care. She has your attention. And then if she goes out and sells a Kim Kardashian perfume, guess what? Her supporters buy it and her haters are buying it too. So at the end of the day, when you have somebody's attention, you can get the distribution. Now, how do you get that attention? How do you get that distribution? Well, you got to get on the social platforms that we have. Get on YouTube, get on Instagram, get on podcasts, get on TikTok, whatever it might be, but you got to create some content that captivates somebody's attention. And this is a game, and some people hate it. Actually, a lot of people hate it. But the reality is, most people are playing the game and they continue to hate the game. People talk about, oh, it's so stupid to have these influencers ruining the internet. It's so stupid to have these influencers leading the game like this. The reality is, that's what's happening. And so now, if you want to make more money in your business, you have to be able to capture this demand. Because if you can get people that are giving you their email address, that are signing up for pre-sales, that are signing up to buy a product before it launches, now this product isn't as important. You want to create a good product, but if you spend all that time, effort, and energy building a good product, you start investing your money to building a good product, your cash flow is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller because you're going to keep using a bank account to build this amazing product. But you don't know if it's going to be good or not. In fact, your product's always going to change. Doesn't matter what the business is. It's never going to be perfect on the first try. It's going to have to improve. It's going to have to get better. So what you want to focus on is getting the MVP, the minimally viable product. Get a basic product out as cheap as possible, as cost effective as possible. Just get something out there and test it. But you can only test it if you have the demand, because this can fix a lot of problems in business. If you have a crappy product and people still want to buy it, you're still in business. If you have a good product but nobody wants to buy it, you're going to go out of business. Once you got the demand, the second thing you got to do is you got to find your blue ocean. There's a book called The Blue Ocean Strategy, amazing book. If you have not read that book yet, go out and read that book. But what the Blue Ocean Strategy says is that when people try to create a new product, a new business, they just try to compete against each other. And when you're competing against other businesses selling the same thing, now you're in this bloody red ocean of trying to undercut the other business and trying to beat them at their own game. But what the blue ocean strategy says is if you leave this ocean and you enter a new ocean by creating a new innovative product or a new innovative marketplace or a new innovative way to monetize your brand, well, now you're going to enter this whole new blue ocean, create a new market category, have way more potential, and have way less competition. Now, I'm not into shaving, obviously, but Dollar Shave Club was a great example of this. You had the behemoths, the people that are in the shaving business, Gillette and whoever else was in there. Dollar Shave Club came up and they said, you know what, we're not going to do what all these brands are doing. How about we sell on the internet? And we create a direct-to-consumer way to sell our shaving products. And when the Gillettes and all the other shaving companies in the world saw this, they said, well, we have all the distribution. We have all the spots in the stores. You can't compete against us. Well, slowly, Dollar Shave Club started to grow, and they created a whole new marketplace for shaving products. And now they're one of the major player in the game. Netflix did the same thing. Netflix saw what Blockbuster and Family Video were doing, and they didn't want to play that same game. Instead of creating a place where people had to go to rent their Friday night movies, Netflix said, how about we mail you the movies? And then they also started to innovate and said, how about we put the movies on the internet? And now they put the other traditional movie businesses out. This is now that blue ocean where how can you create your own marketplace? How can you do something different in that same business? Do something innovative where everyone's going to look at you like you lost your mind. But then you are the one that's creating a whole new blue ocean where you have no competition. And when you have no competition, now your margins can be higher, you can make more money, you can charge higher prices, and you have no one to compete against you because you're doing something that nobody else is doing. That's what's going to allow you to make more money because now you have the demand. You got people that want to buy a product. Now you can make even more money from your product because you have the blue ocean. And then the third thing you got to do is you got to remember to stay lean. And when I say stay lean, that means not overhire, not overspend, and not try to overcomplicate things when you're trying to grow. Because what happens when you are a business owner, where you're running a small business, you're running a side hustle, and you start to make more money, you think, well, I need to invest in my business. And so now you just start buying a whole bunch of things that you may or may not need. You might start hiring a whole bunch of contractors to start expanding really quickly. You might start hiring a whole bunch of employees. You might start investing in fancy office equipment and get a whole big fancy office that you don't necessarily need right now. And what you need to be focusing on is scaling your income like this while scaling your expenses like this. You want your expenses to grow slower than the income. That way you're not overspending on things that you don't need to. Because a big mistake that happens to pretty much every entrepreneur is as you start to hit the quick growth, you decide, I want to keep investing in my growth. Because every entrepreneur wants to see their business grow. And then you start investing your money to grow bigger, even faster. And then you grow a little bit too big, too fast, or you invest your money into things that you don't need. And then eventually you hit a tipping point where your growth slows down a little bit and you realize that you have way too many unnecessary expenses, and that's when you have to cut back. And this is where now being lean, continue to run as a small business, as a startup, meaning not overhire people. Keep people doing a lot of different things. That way you can continue to run your operations as lean as possible. That way now you can continue to maintain the high margins, continue to be able to invest in your technology, continue to be able to invest in your product, but not overspend. That way you can continue to stay in business when things go wrong. And when things go wrong can mean when the economy goes south, when something happens to your product, when something happens to your inventory, when something happens to your marketing, things will go wrong. And you want to make sure you protect for that instead of being blindsided by when it happens. Now, this is where it also pays to pay attention to what's happening in the latest business trends and innovation trends. And an easy way for you to stay up to date on what's happening is to join something like Business Briefs, which is my free newsletter for entrepreneurs, founders, and business owners, where my team is breaking down what's happening with things like the latest business trends, the latest innovation trends, the latest funding trends. That way you can continue running your business and we keep you updated on what's happening with the latest business trends. Business Briefs is completely free, and if you haven't joined Business Briefs yet, I got the link to how you can join down in the description below.
Everybody is holding their breath in the economy right now. It feels like every week more and more institutions are coming out and saying or forecasting a recession is coming in the economy, which brings up a tough question. Should you begin investing today, or should you wait for markets to crash and then come in and buy at a discounted price? And the reason why this question is so difficult